You ever come home after the longest week of your life, just needing your own bed, only to discover your front door has no idea who you are anymore? That's how it began for me. Grinding up my gravel driveway in Redwood Grove, a small, quiet suburb just outside Portland, looking forward to nothing but a hot shower and maybe some takeout. But when my key got stuck and the lock wouldn't budge like it was laughing at, May knew something was dead wrong. I attempted again, heart beginning to race. And that's when I noticed it. The dead bullet wasn't mine. Shiny new with a blinking, smart keypad I'd never installed. Before I could even think it out, pops Linda Grayson, our HOA president, strutting from behind my rose bushes like she's auditioning for a low-budget Western. She's holding a clipboard, polyester pants swishing, and delivers this property's under HOA control until you're hearing Matt. Hearing? What hearing? I'm standing there brain foggy from 72 hours of coding to fend off a cyber attack for a government contract, and this woman's acting like she's the sheriff of suburbia. Apparently, my front yard's juniper bushes were half an inch too tall. Violated some sacred HOA aesthetic code I'd never even seen. No warning, no email. Just Linda and her cronies deciding they could change my locks and call it justice. I'm staring at her, then at this keypad, and it slams into me like a freight train. I created that keypad 3 years ago when Redwood Grove was nothing more than a blueprint. I was the senior cybersecurity engineer wiring this entire neighborhood's cyber spine cameras, lock sensors. You name it. Linda didn't know, she just locked me out with my own technology. I used the keypad with my smartwatch, and sure enough, error code 1401 flashes back. My code, I grumble half to myself. You've got to be kidding me, Linda. My own system. She's too busy preening to hear waving her clipboard like it's a royal decree. That's when I knew the front door wasn't an option anymore. I was going through her instead. Now, I could have called the cops, made a scene, but I was too tired and, honestly, too curious. Linda thought she'd won, but she didn't know who she was messing with. I rode to a coffee house down the street, bought a triple-shot mocha, and cracked open my laptop. In minutes, I'm hitting the neighborhood central node, still using my firmware intact since I constructed it. The logs don't lie. Linda's nephew Brian, her so-called tech guy, put in those new locks with default override codes, didn't even reset the factory settings. It's like keeping your bank PIN as 1234 and asking yourself why your account's depleted. I dig further and discover gold. Brian's override caused a diagnostic log to flag unauthorized tampering on a network connected to a federal emergency services grid. See, Redwood Grove system isn't merely intelligent, it's within a pilot program. I co-created with a defense grant. Linda didn't merely lock me out, she kicked a hornet's nest that she couldn't even see. I could have reset everything right there, locked her out of her own home for the irony. But where's the fun in that? I wanted her to feel this mistake to squirm under the weight of her own arrogance. So I began with something small. That evening, while Linda is hosting a smug little HOA party on my front lawn, drinking wine. Laughing about towing my car, I am monitoring via a camera she didn't realize was still active. I access the system's back end and flip a switch. Every street light on her street goes out for 5 minutes, just long enough to give her the pause mid-toast. Then I adjust her front door camera to switch to night vision in broad daylight, providing her with footage that resembles a low-budget horror film. The next morning, all the HOA board members receive an email from their smart mailbox. Override request denied. Linda is most likely faulting Brian, but I'm just getting warmed up by sunrise. Her home is a circus of glitches. Her lights in her bedroom blast on at 5:17 a.m., her espresso's brewing machines she didn't request, and her smart speakers playing Pula music at maximum volume. She's driving around in a pink robe, yelling at her phone, which keeps sending her calls to voicemail, with a cheerful line, limited by system admin. Throughout the neighborhood, it's not any different. Tom, the treasurer of the HOA, wakes up to his garage door flashing as car lights and Morse code. Sarah, another member of the board, discovers her thermostat is locked at 55 degrees, outright laughing when she tries to override it. I'm sitting in a diner drinking coffee, watching it all play out on my tablet. Every device they believed they controlled remains mine, constructed on a system they never took the time to comprehend. Linda's out here painting over my locked door and making like the room behind it doesn't exist. The best part, she's recording her own demise. Every email she sends, every gloat about disabling the recalcitrant resident. That's me, by the way. Blind copied to my secure vault. She's giving me evidence for Christmas I take to ramping it up. Their security cameras begin to replay old tape, freezing, lagging, flipping to infrared randomly. It's not hazardous, just spooky enough to put them in doubt about what's real. Linda summons an emergency HOA meeting, attempts to seal off the system, but her admin privileges, poof, vanish. Brian, in all his wisdom, registered several devices under a single key, contravening my licensing policy. The system auto-locked them out, just as I designed it to. When Brian launches the diagnostics console, it's simply one sentence flashing in red, system integrity compromised by unauthorized administrator below, that a button with the label request, compliance audit. He clicks it, anticipating a form, but receives a PDF version of my initial software agreement. Me digital signature, front and center. I wish I'd seen his face. I arrive late to their meeting, coffee in hand, playing dumb, like I just happened by Linda's eyes bug when she sees me. She's screaming, accusing me of sabotage, but I just shrug and say, "Got proof." She's waving her phone saying nothing works, and I deadpan. Sounds like a firmware problem. Maybe someone didn't migrate the override keys correctly. Brian sweating, mumbling something about a full reset. And that's when I slide a box across the table. Diagnostics toolkit, I say, all innocent, might help. They plug in the USB drives thinking they're saved, but those drives are running a passive scan, verifying system ownership. 10 minutes of silence. Everyone's staring at loading bars, and then Sarah's laptop pings. System under non-transferable license agreement administered by original architect. The room turns to me. I sip my coffee, give a little nod. Linda's face goes lobster red, mouth flapping like a fish. That's when I lay it out. I read from the contract that they signed, obliging them to my system and highlight every point they violated. Tom, the treasurer, pipe in says, "This entire lockout was botched." Sarah concurs. Hens go on 2-3. Linda's done. They vote to audit the board, and I exit with logs, signatures, and more than enough evidence to bury her. But this ain't over. Linda's not the kind to slink away. She's prideful, vindictive, and convinced she's the victim. Sure enough, the following day, I receive a letter taped on my door, blue ink underlined, accusing me of cyber harassment and threatening suit. I display it in my hallway, a trophy of her desperation. Things escalate rapidly. A federal agent appears, gray suit, mirrored shades inquiring about unauthorized overrides on a system linked to a city disaster grid. Linda's stammering, Brian unresponsive, and the logs I kept. They document every move she made, including a crowbar trick in the clubhouse server room. She's not merely HOA troubles, flirting with federal charges. The board gives me back the reins, and I put the system back together. Locks, sync lights, stabilize, peace returns. Linda's barred from the clubhouse, her name removed from records. She attempts a last-ditch blog post, ranting about me hacking the community. But it appears on a conspiracy forum and gets pulled for being too out of control, even for them. Weeks later, redwood sprouts. Different residents are awake, demanding questions, transparency. Linda's house is on the market, her empire lost. I build a new network, opt-in, decentralized, no single point of failure. Everyone has a say. No one gets locked out. The first day at launches, I send a message, "Welcome home." That night, the streets seem calm, like the air is finally clean. I'm sitting on my porch, watching the sky turn orange to blue, and my door lock chimes softly behind me. In my living room, that bordered keypad remains on a plaque. "Nice attempt, Linda." But here's the thing, folks like her don't disappear. They linger, they conspire. And I'm prepared. I'm working on a larger network, one to safeguard all homeowners from little tyrants like her. The fight's over, but the war's only just beginning. What do you think? Have you ever had to deal with someone who believed they controlled your world? Drop a comment. Share your story. Let's chat about who actually possesses the keys.